That's probably why the Aztecs were interested in conquering them.
Sandra, in Camilla's book, as I mentioned earlier, she calls her Malintzin, but in your work she's La Malinche. Why the discrepancy here?
It's a good question because there are many myths about La Malinche and certainly about her name. What we do know with certainty is that the Spaniards baptized her as Marina, and the indigenous people don't have in Nahuatl the R, so they called it Malinal. Malintzin is actually part of an honorific. The Tzin is like Doña Marina, Malintzin. When the Spanish heard the term Malintzin, they heard it as Malinche, and they called her La Malinche for that reason. And I called her La Malinche in my book because I was not dealing so much with the historical facts, but with the way she had been represented through literature through the hundreds of years. And she is known often as Doña Marina or Malinche.
Okay, well, for consistency's sake, we're going to refer to her as La Malinche throughout the programme. I hope you don't mind, Camilla.
Not at all.
And I just wanted to pick up, Camilla, with what she was saying about her childhood. So she had a relatively comfortable or elevated life, but when she's fairly young, her fortunes change quite dramatically.
Right. Well, we know that the Aztecs attacked the region that she was from, and we know that she ended up enslaved as a sort of a byproduct of that moment. What we can't be sure of is exactly how it happened. That is, it could be that she was actually seized in war. It also could be that her own people gave her up, along with other women and other tribute, in effect, to the Aztecs in an effort to prevent war. That was very common for lords to give daughters and younger sisters to an enemy in an effort to prevent a battle that they thought they were going to lose. But either way, she found herself in a canoe.
Thank you.
Well, now we hear a lot on this programme from businesses that have set a target for themselves to reach net zero carbon. Before they can achieve that, though, they have to actually know accurately what their carbon footprint is. Well, Stockholm-based Normative helps clients measure just that. Today, it's revealed that it's raised €31 million from investors. Well, joining me now is Christian Rönn. He's the Chief Executive of Normative. Christian, welcome to you. We last spoke in April, I think it was. How have you traded since then?
I mean, business is phenomenal. I think we all realize that the world is in a dire situation right now. We're facing famines, hurricanes, wildfire, and this week in London, we had the biggest heat wave in recording history. But the good news is that over 50,000 businesses are committed to net zero, and more of them realize that they need to accurately account for their carbon emissions in order to reduce their emissions. So things have been going incredibly well.
Now, the fundraising that you've completed today, this is only 9 months after your last funding round. Did you need to raise more money at this point?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this thing about climate change and going net zero is something that companies all across the planet will need to do. And in order to expand and have as many companies as possible to fill that accuracy gap and properly measure their carbon footprint to go to net zero, we need that additional capital.
And what specifically will you be deploying that capital for then?
So we will be deploying it towards expansion, so expanding to new geographical areas, in particular, consolidate across Europe, because that's where the carbon disclosure legislation is the strongest, both in the UK and in the European Union. But we also see carbon disclosures regulations cropping up on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean and in Asia. So we will focus a lot on expansion, but we will also focus a lot on integration and making it simpler than ever to account for your carbon footprint, integrating that with your existing business ERP systems. So those are some of the things that we're going to focus on.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You mentioned events across the Atlantic. I mean, the US Securities and Exchange Commission is indicating that it's going to require a lot more detail from corporations on their carbon footprint. Where are they in relation to the EU right now and the UK in terms of legislation?
So the US is falling behind. So if you take, for instance, the EU regulation, it requires all companies with more than 250 employees, which is 50,000 companies to disclose their carbon emissions, whilst the SEC disclosure regulations in the US are just focusing on listed companies. So the EU is ahead. But I think the important point here is that I'm a bit worried that in 10 years, you will have all companies claiming to be net zero, but we will still see global emissions go up. And I suspect that if that happens, that will be because of that accuracy gap, that companies are not properly accounting for their full carbon footprint, both in their own operations and quite crucially in their value chain as well, which is why what we are doing to standardize and make carbon accounting more accurate is so incredibly important to for the world not to have those extreme heat waves or hurricane and extreme weather events in the future.
And you mentioned Asia just now. What's the legislature there looking like?
Yeah, so that, again, Europe is leading the way, but we see some great initiatives coming out of Asia. I think especially in Japan, South Korea. Then, obviously in the Asia Pacific, we see initiatives from Australia and New Zealand as well. So I would almost claim that Asia is faster at adopting than the US is to some extent at the moment.
Have you got the capability to meet demand from the United States and Asia should it become a much bigger part of the business? I mean, primarily your customers are in Europe right now.
I think that is the power of building software systems, that they are almost infinitely scalable and deployable all across the world. So I don't think that scaling up will be any problem for us.
That's interesting. And how do you deliver the software? It's all cloud-based, I assume, is it? I think we've talked about this before.
It is all cloud-based, and all companies across the world are moving their crucial business infrastructure at the cloud because it's more secure. Everything can be automatically updated. So yes, it is absolutely cloud-based.
Christian, before I let you go, I mean, it's typical when a company announces these sort of funding rounds to sort of say what the valuation of the business is post the funding round. Are you able to give me an idea?
No, I'm not able to do that, I'm afraid. But I would say that we got a really good deal, and I'm incredibly happy and proud for what we have accomplished so far. And I think there's exciting times ahead of us.
All right, good to talk to you again. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Well, still to come here on Ian King Live. It is a really busy and exciting day in markets this morning. Stay tuned to find out what's happening next.
There is a lot of gas being fired all around us. शांति से इनको समझाओ वरना ये हम लोग It is an absolute carnival kind of atmosphere out here for Prime Minister Modi's decisive victory. These students are defying the prohibitory orders, and now they're going to be arrested. We aim to be the best and most trusted place for news. The roads have been inundated. The only way out is to get people by boat. What is feared that over 200 people might have died because of these landslides. This on any given day would have been bustling with people, but today it's absolutely deserted. This is one of the most sensitive areas of Northeast Delhi where there's been clashes. I'm Neville Lazarus, and I'm Sky's reporter based in Delhi.
Well, the euro rallied this morning ahead of this lunchtime's interest rate decision from the European Central Bank and news that gas has resumed flowing through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. But as you can see, it's given up all of those gains as the session has gone on. That follows the resignation of Italy's Prime Minister Mario Draghi following the collapse of his fragile coalition government. The euro currently off by 1/3% right now against sterling. It's very slightly lower against the US dollar. It had earlier been trading at a 2-week high against the greenback. And as you can see, sterling is also around 0.2% lower right now against the US dollar. Well, on the equity markets, following a strong showing last night on Wall Street, stocks in the Asia-Pacific region saw mixed trading overnight. There were gains in Tokyo and in Sydney, while Hong Kong and Shanghai fell. Mumbai, which isn't on the screen, that was more or less unchanged. Well, stocks in Europe have been largely trading to the downside this morning. Here's the current picture. As you can see, all the main continental European indices are in negative territory. And if you look at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen there, you can see the MIB in Milan. Well, that is off by nearly 2%. And that is on the back of Mario Draghi's resignation as Italy's Prime Minister. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 is also trading in negative territory, currently off 0.2% right now. The biggest blue chip faller right now is Dechra Pharmaceuticals. The shares there are off some 7%. That's after it issued £180 million worth of new stock at a discount to fund an acquisition. There are some gainers right now though in the FTSE. The leading one in the index is JD Sports. The shares are up 2.25%. That's following the positive trading update from its rival Frasers Group. Well, outside the FTSE, quite a few trading updates around this morning. The distributor Diploma Group, the shares there are ahead by some 3.5% on a trading statement, while the online trading platform IG Group, sponsor of the England cricket team, of course, the shares there up 5% on better than expected results. As for the oil price, well, that is off this morning following news of a bigger than expected increase in US gasoline stockpiles. A barrel of Brent crude will currently set you back $103.17 a barrel, and that is off 3.5%. Well, joining me now is Rachel Winter. She's Associate Investment Director at Killick & Co. Rachel, welcome to you. The borrowing numbers this morning were really quite shocking when you look at them in isolation. What did you make of them?
They were high, they were expected to be high, so that's not a surprise. But what was quite surprising was the amount of interest the government has paid on its existing debt. That came in at the highest level on record. And the reason for that is that about 25% of UK government debt is inflation linked. And what's more, the rate is linked to the RPI inflation rate rather than CPI, and RPI tends to be higher. Last month, RPI came in at 11.8%, so the government has seen quite a big increase in the amount of interest it's having to pay on that debt.
Rachel, put this into the context of the Conservative leadership contest for me, if you would, please. I mean, Rishi Sunak has been stressing that, there is no scope for tax cuts. Liz Truss is promising to shower us with them.
Yes, we've got a lot of Conservatives now pushing for tax cuts, which really does seem like quite an unconservative policy. But with these latest borrowing numbers, I think it is quite likely that more Conservatives will push to try and pay down that debt instead of trying to reduce the level of taxes.
Well, let's talk about some of the trading updates around today. There are a whole load of them. I mean, the one that jumped out at me first thing this morning was Ocado. I mean, this just feels like it's been a jam tomorrow stock forever and ever.
It does. I still think when people think about Ocado, they think about the retail operation, which is now a joint venture with M&S. And the results there were a little bit weaker this morning. That's because consumers have been reducing their basket size because of the cost of living crisis. But as you say, the future of Ocado is based on OSP, which is the Ocado Solutions platform. And that's where the company is selling its fulfillment technology to other companies for them to use. And that part of the business is going well. There were some positive comments about that in the update this morning. But as you also correctly say, it's not yet being reflected in the share price.
Elsewhere in the FTSE, we also heard from SSE this morning. I mean, they had some good news recently when the government said it wasn't going to extend its windfall tax to them. But the numbers today looked OK.
They did. They were quite encouraging. So SSE is no longer involved in electricity supply. It's now focused on generation and transmission. And it has said that now that it's focused mainly on wind power, there have been some favourable weather conditions over the course of the last half of a year. We can take that to mean that it's been a bit more windy than expected, and therefore the company's revenues have been a bit ahead of expectation. So that was a reassuring update this morning.
And outside the FTSE, I mean, the real showstopper was Mike Ashley's Frasers Group. I mean, a big increase in the guidance there.
Yes, big increase in guidance, and that was ahead of the company this morning, resulting profits that came in at the top end of previous guidance, which actually was quite a surprise to analysts. Really good share price reaction here, up 20% at the moment, and that's after quite a strong one as we went into results. And actually, the company's shares are currently ahead of where they were in 2021, and that's really quite incredible compared to the rest of the retail landscape. So I can imagine the management are pretty happy this morning. The company does have a lot of very big physical stores, and it has done well from people going back to those as the COVID restrictions have lifted. But in the update this morning, there was some quite heavy criticism of the UK's business rates, which are quite high for companies that do have a big physical presence, including Frasers Group.
And one more to squeeze in. I didn't mention it in the market report, but it concerns someone who we've had on this programme quite a few times over the years, Sir Martin Sorrell, S4 Capital. He's put out a profits warning this morning. I mean, the shares have absolutely tanked.
Yeah, really strong negative share price reaction this morning. Shares down over 40%. I think share price investors were feeling a little bit worried about this company because the last set of results was delayed because of some issues with the audit being signed off. So I think investors were feeling a bit nervous, and that's why there's been quite a strong reaction to the profit warning this morning. The reason for the profit warning was an increase in staffing costs and hiring costs. So that's not too much of a shock. I think a lot of companies are suffering from the same issue at the moment, but it is quite a surprise to see the share price down by such a huge degree this morning.
All right, Rachel, we have to leave it there, I'm afraid. Good to see you again this morning. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, now, Boris Johnson and his cost of living czar, David Buttress, have been meeting senior business leaders at number 10 Downing Street this morning to discuss what more can be done to support families during the cost of living crisis. He's just emerged from number 10. Our political correspondent, Tamara Cohen, is in Downing Street right now. Tamara.
Hi, Ian. Yes, I'm with David Buttress, who is the former CEO of Just Eat takeaway business, and he has for the last couple of months been working in Downing Street with Boris Johnson on issues to do with the cost of living. So we'll ask him a couple of questions about it. I'll just step out of here. David, you've been meeting with some of Britain's biggest businesses this morning to talk about what help they can offer families with the cost of living. What help is on offer?
So the Help for Households campaign that we've launched today has a variety of offers. It's from Vodafone's social tariff, like £10 a month for all your calls and your SMSs. Asda and Sainsbury's have announced they're extending their existing schemes around kids can eat either free or for £1 with an adult in their cafes over the summer holidays. So there's a variety, and it's not just about big business, it's also about small, medium businesses too that we want to come and join the Help for Households campaign.
Now, families are facing the biggest cost of living squeeze in decades, energy bills going up to over £3,000 later in the year. Obviously, every little bit of saving helps, but would you call this sort of help around the edges rather than any sort of big impact on the squeeze that they're going to face?
Well, I think the challenge we all face here requires both business and government, all of us to step up to the challenge. I think, as you saw, the Chancellor obviously announced with the Prime Minister the £37 billion package that's going to be announced this autumn. And this Help for Households campaign is in the spirit of let's do whatever we can also do, working with business and government to help people through this difficult time. So I think the purpose of this is to do whatever we can, whether it's small, medium or large. Let's do some of the parts effort, if you like, combining working with the best of all of British business. So if we add it all up, hopefully come to something meaningful over the next coming 2, 3, 4 months as we go into the autumn and winter period.
Now, the timing for you has been a bit difficult because Boris Johnson is, of course, going. You once called for him to go before you came to work in Downing Street. He now is going. So what does this mean for this bandwagon you've started? You obviously wanted more businesses to join. Is there going to be the political backing behind it to make it happen now?
Obviously, the reason why I joined the campaign was the Prime Minister, when I met him, the energy and passion he had to really help people over the next 6 months through this was something, as you rightly point out, I've spoken about publicly and I care about deeply. So that's why I joined when I saw, that level of enthusiasm. I hope and I'm sure that whoever the new Prime Minister is, this cost of living challenge, as we all know, is going to be here for the next 6-12 months. I'm sure the new Prime Minister will be equally supportive around the campaign. And bearing in mind, Rishi Sunak, of course, who's one of the contenders, was obviously already supportive of the campaign and signed off on it when he was Chancellor.
So you don't feel disappointed that this may fall by the wayside now because of the Tory leadership race?
No, I'm not disappointed. I'm very focused in business. You know, as a CEO, former CEO, you're very used to changes happening all the time. In those situations, you get your head down, you work hard, and just continue to plough on. And that's been my focus the last few weeks, is making sure, as you've seen today, that we have some meaningful things to announce. And I'm pleased to say, in back to school at the end of August, we'll have some really exciting things to announce in the coming weeks.
That's my final question. You've been working with Nadeem Zahawi as well on the whole issue of childcare, holiday clubs. Local councils are saying they can't cater for all the children who need them in the aftermath of COVID. They've got such huge need. They can't provide it to everybody, and that's a real problem for working parents. Is that something that you're aware of, that there's a shortfall there?
And that's why we need a campaign like this, I think, to help pull all of things together, because no one organisation can do it on their own. I saw yesterday the FA were talking about their schools programme over this summer holiday, and I'm hopeful we can work with them to help amplify the good work they're doing, because I think the only way we can raise to all the challenges you allude to is by actually working all together. And so I think there'll be some things that we can do to help, hopefully, local councils that we'll announce over the hot summer holiday period.
So more to come. Thank you very much, David, and back to you, Ian.
All right, great stuff. Thanks, Tamara. Well, still to come here on Ian King Live, the UK-based fintech company helping students access courses that might otherwise be out of reach. Don't go.
All ladies, you are invited to our premier 13th annual Women's Conference, Lady to Lady Global Conference 2022. Theme, Joy. Date, Saturday, 30th July. Doors open at 11 a.m. Venue, Fairview's Concert Halls, the Phoenix Theater, Croydon, CR91DG3, United Kingdom. Register on www.ladytoladyglobal.org. Music Minister, CLC Healing Voices. Simeon. Queenie, Ada Ahi.
Congratulations, I have seen the glory of God.
Conference speakers, Reverend Betty King, Pastor Marjorie, Pastor Sandra.
I did come to Lady, and from that day onwards, my life has never been the same.
See you there.
To 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from Sendwave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there! Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com. Or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
The best radio show.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Star Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Star Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Hey there, this is Archie.
This is Starr Radio.
Welcome.
All right, TNS, let me hear you sing. Swell me, swell. Oh, and now no worry more. Swell me, swell me, swell. Shall I come out?
Well, what a way to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Those of you on other planets as well, we want to welcome you to the greatest program in the whole wide world, the Starr Radio UK Morning Show. And welcome to the Starr family as well. Today is the 21st day of July, the year 2022. The time now 10:41 from the hearts of London. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only. Ha ha ha!
This is the morning show.
Music playing in the background by the TNS. The new song. It was one of the favorites that we recorded as a group back in the day. The Pentecost singers at the time. Led by the late Kofiani Johnson. A rendition of that from the TNS. And I say massive kudos to you for all those smashing hits that you are bringing up. Well done, guys. Well done, guys. Well done, guys. And the one playing in the background saying, smile. Though the days and things are evil, there is a God who can put a smile on your face. And he will keep you. So comfort yourself, whatever the situation that you might find yourself in. Look at the present economic situations all over the globe and you ask yourself, what hope is there? Can we survive? But the resilience in man caused them to survive all sorts. But this morning I'm going to bring you all the news that is making the rounds across the globe. Plus music as well. So once again, welcome, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. But let me say good morning to my team, Mr. Olayomi. Good morning to you. To my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, good morning to you, sirs. Behind the scenes, Mr. Frank Davis pulling all the plugs back. Yes, good morning to you. To my brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen, massive good morning to you, Felix. I'll catch up with you after the program. Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, massive good morning to you, sir. Hope you are doing very well. Dr. Martin, Mr. David Croce, good morning to you, gentlemen. To all our listeners, those of you in the Americas, those of you on the African continent, those of you in Australia, those of you in Asia and in Europe, those of you here in the UK with us, I salute each and every one of you. Especially all members of Bible Life Family Ministries. Welcome once again to the program. So if it's the first time of tuning in on a Thursday edition for the morning show, this is how the program goes. I'm going to be bringing you the quote of the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates as well. We're going from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. Then after that, we continue till 11 o'clock, where Mr. Olayomi will be joining in to bring you updates from Nigeria. We continue from there to have a look at some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe. From archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, is making the headlines. Why not? I promise you one thing for sure. I'm going to touch on it. Welcome once again to the program. At 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you want to add your voice, just type in your whatever comment that you have on our Facebook page, post it on our Facebook page or YouTube channel, and I promise you I'm going to do that as well. But let me say good morning to Shamsuddin Oladipupo. How are you doing? We still have to find some energy to smile, right? Yes, though the days are dark and difficult and challenging times, but there is a God who continues to sustain us. Kainde Anthony, my boss, I always enjoy your program. Yoruba Nation Now, no going back. Kainde, good morning to you and welcome and thanks for joining us as well. And let me say good morning to Bashagun. Who joined us on the Niger Voices yesterday. So let me quickly be telling you a bit about that once he comes on as well. Now the quote for the day says, the presence of pain is evidence of the closeness to delivery or success. And as I said, maybe times are tough and everything, but keep on pressing on. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Keep on keeping on. There's some resilience in you, something within you that makes you so strong. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, man of God, massive good morning to you and thank you very much for joining us as well. Okay, let's move on straight to the weather front as well. Let me tell you what is happening on the weather front. Now this afternoon will remain quite dull with thick bands of cloud. It will be a much cooler day compared to previous days. It should remain dry, but the odd shower cannot be ruled out. The overnight period will see patchy cloud lingering until dawn. There will be a few clearer spells, but also showers will develop and linger for much of the night. Top temperature is going to be 25 degrees, the low is going to be 17 degrees. Pollen level moderate, UV level moderate, pollution low. Sunset 21:05 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 05:08 hours. That brings us to the end of the weather forecast. Yes, still playing in the background something from the TNS or PIWCEO.com. Good morning, guys. I'm enjoying that music. As I said earlier, back in the day, we didn't record all those songs, you know. It was great. So to hear a rendition of it, it's like, wow. Alright then, now let's move on to some of the other stories making that we're going to be looking at and that pertains to the travels this morning. So stay tuned, don't you go away. I'm going to bring you some lovely tunes during the course of the program, so stay tuned.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road. Keep your eyes on the road.
This is Radio UK.
Yes, so keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise I'll be on the Star Radio Travel Up there. I can see you every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:49. So let's crack on the underground this morning. Well, Central, District, Elizabeth Line, and Bakerloo have all got, okay, let me take it again. Central and District have got minor delays, and Elizabeth Line has got severe delays. That aside, all the others, good service. TFL, Rail, DLR, landed traveling, good service there as well. Moving on straight to the river bars this morning. The major roads in London, my apologies. The A24, A4, A41, and Central London Red routes have all got closures. But A23 has got serious delays. If you can avoid that, do your best to avoid that. And that pertains to an accident, traffic incident, Streatham High Road at the junction B273 Green Lane. Lane 2 of their 2 is blocked due to a collision there. Let's move on straight to the river bus. On the river bus this morning, apart from the Woolwich Ferry, that's got a reduced service, is suspended, my apologies. All the others have good service. Now, on the final segment of the travel update, that's the major the National Rail. On the National Rail, we've got First Transparent Express that got special service, and ScotRail that's got minor delays. That aside, all the others good service. So once again, let me say it. want to say is, what do you want to say? I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. I'm 10:51 from the House of London. Let's go global trotting now. Well, when it comes to Nigeria, Bishop who attended APC unveiling of Shetima opens up. What did it open up about? I'm going to be bringing you more on that. You want to know what? One of the Christian clerics that attended the unveiling of 2023 presidential candidate Bola Tinubu's running mate has spoken out on Wednesday in Abuja. The All Progressive Congress APC presented Kashim Shettima as its vice presidential candidate. The 55-year-old former governor of Borno currently represents the state's central district at the Nigerian Senate. News of his official announcement was overshadowed by the presence of dozens of clergymen, most with spurious identities. So did they go there too? Align themselves with him so that maybe he can do something different or heed to their advice or what? The photos and videos show them arriving at the venue, Shehu Musa Yaradowa Center. But they refuse to take questions except a few. Well, I'll be bringing you more on that while we're there. Well, some people have been saying that, well, Muslim ticket, and that's going to cause lots of problems. But hey, see. Reno Omokiri gives 10 reasons why Tinubu will lose 2023 elections. One of the stories making the rounds there as well. And then a Muslim ticket, APC to lose 2.2 million votes in Kaduna. But somebody will say that, well. Because the APC has been in power for 8 years, that's why maybe that is happening. But non-fake bishops attended Shetima's unveiling, so they are saying that these were proper bishops, not fake ones. Okay, I'll be bringing you more on that front, and with what Musolani Koki is posting at the moment, I'll be looking at that. I think about a month ago, I posted some video which the Facebook official said that it wasn't that friendly, and therefore decided to take it down. But for that situation that happened, this pertaining to migrants, black migrants who have been, arrested and were lying on the floor on the ground like pigs to the slaughter or goats or some animal. But the Moroccan Association for Human Rights have released a report on Wednesday putting the death toll from last month's attempt by hundreds of migrants to storm the border between the North African Kingdom and the Spanish enclave of Melilla higher than the official government tally. The human rights watchdog known as AMD said at least 27 people, mostly from Sudan, South Sudan and Chad, died in the attempt. We'll be looking at that story as well. The way blacks are treated like animals when it comes to any of these advanced countries. Look at what happened in Ukraine, the beginning of the war, and when they were all leaving, students, professors, all those who were there teaching as well, were just treated like were not being allowed to embark embark on the trains that were taking them out of Kyiv and stuff like that. But I'll be looking at that in a moment. And this all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Mahama to win 58% if election were held today, polls are suggesting. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to rest on your oars, because by the time you say Jack, things will be happening. Working with government to stop Ghana turning into Sri Lanka, Haruna Idrisu says. Well, desperation has gotten to a point where churches or communities, various entities there, charitable organizations, have to now donate some food stuff for secondary schools. The SHS. So Pentecost have donated some to some of the SHS that they also own, but it's all, government assisted SHS, right? Well, so is the free SHS going to be something of the past? Or will government die by it, whatever it is? They'll say we'll still want to go on. 10:57 the time, Starr Radio UK, the station, the morning show, your program. Atamil's bedroom at Osu Castle had a leaking roof. Samuel Atamills eulogizes his brother's selflessness. Let me take the opportunity to say good morning to Anthony Adedeji all the way in the US today. He said it's not going to be late. Anthony, today you're not late. I hope you are doing very well, sir. A report of a research that has been conducted says that the police service in Ghana are the most corrupt institution. Which ones follow suit? The Ghana Police Service is the most corrupt institution in the country. A research conducted by the Ghana Statistical Services, the GSS, together with other stakeholders has stated. In total, 24 institutions were sampled for the said survey. The research was christened Corruption in Ghana, People's Experiences and View. Well, we'll be looking at that in a moment. Or wherever you are, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to take a break. We come back and we'll be having Miss Olayomi Koiki joining in. But wherever you are, stay tuned. Don't you go away.
Glory. Actually, aya. Oh, I can't believe it. We say, actually. That's right. Come on.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world.
Starr Radio. Radio for the people. Live.
Don't you be afraid. Joy comes in the morning. Yeah. Troubles they don't last away. Did you know that? Oh, there's a friend named Jesus. Always wiping tears. Will wipe your tears away. You have a broken heart. And if your heart is broken, everybody, what you gonna do? Just lift your hands and say, you don't have to worry.
Starr Radio.
You go. Hello. Aya.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Trouble never lost always. Yeah. Remember, there's a friend. Everybody say. Oh, there's a friend in Jesus. He will forever wipe your tears away. And if your heart is broken, come on. What you gonna do? Just lift your hands and say, I know. Everybody say,
This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
morning to Ismaila Ajade Subaru. Or let me say it the way they say it here, Subaru. Good morning, bro, and thank you very much for joining us as well. Our lives are in the hands of God. So no matter what they throw at us, we'll also come out strong and powerful.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
What you gonna do? Just
Favorite Afro-Caribbean radio station.
repeat this again. Yeah, yeah. To all your friends and lovers. I know it to be fun. Remember there's a friend. Mexico comes for Bruce.
Radio station.
What you gonna do? Just lift your hands and say, oh, I know that I can make it.
Well, we know that we can make it. So I say it all the time. You don't give up. You don't give in. You don't throw in a towel. If you are convinced and convicted by that mission or whatever you want to do, the one thing that I will tell you, that I tell the youth, any youth that I meet all the time, keep on keeping on. Push yourself. You will get there. Somewhere, somehow we do. How we do, I don't know. But the resilience in man makes us do that. So you might not know, you think you're not feeble. Oh, I'm that little girl, I'm that little boy. Who back in the day, the people were shouting at you in your community. Stop that, do that. Now you're a mature person now. There's so much within you, and you can make it. All right then. Thank you once again to TNS. Yeah, his life, our life is in his hands. Okay, let's take a quick commercial break. We come back and then we'll be bringing you Mr. Olayomi Koike, who'll be bringing you updates from Nigeria. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
All ladies, you are invited to our premier 13th annual Women's Conference, Lady to Lady Global Conference 2022. Theme, Joy. Date, Saturday, 30th July. Doors open at 11 a.m. Venue, Fairview's Concert Halls, the Phoenix Theater, Croydon, CR91DG3, United Kingdom. Register on www.ladytoladyglobal.org. Music Minister, CLC Healing Voices. Simeon. Queenie. Ada Ahe.
Congratulations, I have seen the glory of God.
Conference speakers Reverend Betty King, Pastor Marjorie, Pastor Sandra.
I did come to Lady, and from that day onwards, my life has never been the same.
See you there.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 6 minutes past the top of the hour. That means 6 minutes past 11, and it's time for me to introduce the one and only and still the champion. Yes, we don't give in, we don't give out, and therefore we keep on keeping on. Mr. Olayomi Koiki, and let me say massive good morning to you, Yummy.
Well, it is a very good morning, and I hope you can hear me back in the studio.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners, and most especially, I say, our viewers, because the beauty of the technology in 21st century means that people can literally watch us from any part of the globe, and they can watch us from different devices. But the best way to watch us is to make sure to keep in touch on all our apps on Star Radio UK. But I say good morning to you, and good morning to Frank, good morning to all the team back in the studio. And I say welcome once again to Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Yes. How are you doing, sir?
Well, it seems as usual, like you say, when we are live, we give, praises to the Almighty Creator, because that is the most important thing. I'm doing very well. We know that we're also in the holiday mood. That means that the house will become very busy, but we give praises to the Almighty Creator for keeping us alive again today, so that we can come and speak to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Now, after a very what? So I say, I don't want to say strong. I'm trying to look for a particular word that I can use. Program yesterday on the Niger Voices, where virtually smashing all the beliefs and everything there with Bashagun yesterday. I was like, well, we sorted everything out. But I knew there were some people, because we had lost thousands of people who were on watching. But I knew that there were some people who still missed out on that. Can we just talk to them briefly about what you discussed with Bashagun?
Well, let us first, hear a bit of some of the clip that was picked up from some of his conversation. This is what you missed if you were not part of that program yesterday. This is Bashagun speaking to me yesterday.
We can secure our external and internal borders. What do we mean by that? There wouldn't be Fulani porously coming to Nigeria. They can't come to Yoruba land without a visa. When we have our own country. Remember, I was telling you the natural barrier that the good Lord put there, River Niger, cuts us away from the north, cuts us away from the east. To come to Yoruba land, you need a visa. You can't just walk in. And that will allow us to keep out of the undesirables from Yoruba land. People with no fixed home, no job, nothing. You see them littering our streets, sleeping under bridges and so on and so forth. They will no longer be undesirables. They will no longer be allowed. As I said, the good Lord put the River Niger there for a reason.
Well, that is just one out of so many conversations between myself and Bashagun, and all these normally happen every Wednesday. Should you have missed, the program yesterday, the next program will be again next week Wednesday from 6 p.m., which is the same local time for those of you in Nigeria as well. Some of what he also point out is the benefit was the topic yesterday. He also said we can do things the Yoruba ways. We can have the Yoruba law. We can have our own system of government, constitutional order. It talks about the Omoluabi ethos. That means, the Yoruba's good side of things. Get the Nigerian disease out of us. We can also keep the Yoruba money in the Yoruba land. He also talked about the 75% income that comes from the Yoruba land. We can develop Yoruba land the way we want. I love that so much, because it seems that we want to copy everything from the Western world, especially in Nigeria today, that is not working. He also talked about the wind turbine. We can educate and employ our youth. We're going to be discussing that this morning. But there was a gray area that was something that was, I picked up from him, that Lugard reported back to the parliament. Do you know that in 1930, Yoruba Kingdom borrowed 8.5 million pounds to the British government. In 1970, we also gave 12 million pounds to them as well. We also do the same thing to America, 1.8 million pounds. These are about trillions of naira or trillions of pounds sterling if we're going to work it out in the exchange rate today. He also talked about 6 million pounds was paid to the British government to service the imperial war. this was all what you missed if you were not part of the program yesterday. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Well, listeners, as we said, if you missed out on yesterday's program, that's what you missed. But don't be a stranger. Next week, yes, Wednesday is going to be taking place once again, every Wednesday, 18 hours. But you can join us on the morning shows from 10 to 1 o'clock, depending on which day, and where we bring you updates from Nigeria, which we will be going to in a moment. But let me say good morning to Suleiman Yusuf. Yusufu, good morning to you all, and thumbs up to you too. Thank you very much to all of you who are watching us. Let me just quickly check on our YouTube channel as well. Okay, Kehinde Anthony, good morning to you there as well. But now let's come back to what is happening in Nigeria. Now, apparently, Shatima was sort of unveiled to the APC, but we know we've talked about the Muslim ticket, and we've talked about how, I mean, those in the south will be looking at it. Okay, though there are some Muslims in the south, they are looking at it and no, having a Muslim is a no place. But we saw some bishops, and this morning I was thinking maybe there were some fake bishops, but they come out to say, hey, these are real bishops who were there virtually saying that we sanctioned it. And if you listen to what Bashigo yesterday was saying, he says there are traitors or people who, I mean, in the Yoruba side, who always are not like whether they are scared or something, they are the one who betray the Yoruba people, or the people when they are saying that this is not what we want. What do you think about that?
Well, one thing you've got to understand is, as much as a lot of people saw what played out, during the unveiling of, the vice president of the APC yesterday, you're quite right. A lot of people still disagree that the Muslim ticket, should be the way out. But there was something that occurred that, a lot of different, people dressed in a bishop way. But it seems that money was shared after that. I'm not sure whether it's just deliberately or they're real, people from the impression that they are people that support the Muslim ticket, especially the bishop. But from the headline this morning, it says, upcoming bishop attended Shetima unveiling Tinubu support organization. But there was a video that I saw yesterday that money was being shared among them. Whether it was just normal money that was given, but some are saying some of those that were the Clegman are not the real Clegman. But in a statement by the group director of the media publication, Bayo Ononuga, the group maintained that the Clegman were not fake, not mechanic or yam seller, as been rumored online.
Well, whether they are or not, we are all here and we'll see what will happen. Is it a betrayal of their people because they need that they go in there, whoever they are, whether they are fake or this, and then they can get some money and then they go and continue with their lives. But what do you think about that? It is Starr Radio UK. Let me say good morning to Lukman Muaz Ayobami. Okay. Lukman Muaz Ayobami. Good morning to you, sir, as well. All right then. Now, what are some of the other stories, sir?
Well, quite a lot again is happening in Nigeria. Let's first look at the Nigerian bread bakers have now also begun what we can call a strike that will start today on the high cost of production, harsh government policies as well. I know that it's not just Nigeria. There's a lot of problem in terms of the wheat distribution that normally comes from Ukraine. But the bread bakers under the umbrella of Premium Bread Makers Association of Nigeria have now declared that they will shut down bread production across the country from today over an indiscriminate rise in the cost of production of their product. The association made this known in a statement signed by its president, Emmanuel Onora, who lamented that operating a bakery in Nigeria has become almost impossible due to the hike in the prices of baking materials and the diesel, which have unleashed adverse effect on them. So it seems that almost everything is being affected in Nigeria. Let's now talk on some of the other headlines coming out of Nigeria today. NLC also reject Buhari's 2-week ultimatum, insist on protest. I thought they were going to start the protest like they said on Tuesday. Not sure what has actually happened. Remember I told you, but it seems that it has now been planned for the 26th and the 27th which is just about a few more days from now, the federal government and the labor union on Wednesday have clashed over the group's refusal to back now on its plan. So it looks like it has been planned for the 26th and the 27th. No fewer than 40 unions, including the aviation workers. So that means if you are a diaspora or you are traveling in and out of Nigeria, there will be probability that you will not be able to get into Nigeria. So we advise those that will be traveling to make sure that if you're listening to us, consider that into your travel plan, that the 26th and the 27th is not yet a back down from the two. So, and also 40 union aviation workers will participate in the rally called in the solidarity with the striking academic staff union of university, which has literally shut down the public university since February 14, which is a Valentine's Day, over the failure of the government to meet its demand. According to the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, on Wednesday said the protest was illegal since the Nigerian Labour Congress had no pending dispute with the government. But the Congress retorted that it will go on with the protest, saying the freedom to protest is guaranteed by the Constitution. So you can actually see that, I mean, the federal government, according to the information minister, is literally trying to put that there. There's no need for this, strike, because the NLC controls a large body of union across both the private and the public sector. And when they call for strike, that means the whole country will be completely grounded. So that is coming from ASU, and now also, the Senior Staff Academic of Nigerian Union, an education institution, later joined the industrial action. So it's going to be a showdown within the next few days in Nigeria. So we also advise those to become those that were traveling, especially for the diaspora, so that you do not get cut up in case that you might be diverted from one aircraft maybe to another state, maybe another country. Who knows what the situation will be. Showore, stop your pretense. Showore knocks Atiku. Now, why is that? For the almost Nigerians waking up this morning, electricity that we've talked about has never been there. But the African Action Congress presidential candidate, Omoyele Showore, has now knocked the Democratic Party presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, over what he described as his pretense over the national grid collapse. According to the Nigerian power grid that collapsed yesterday, as it has now crashed from 3,921 megawatt that was generated as at 6 a.m. yesterday to as low as 50 megawatt. So you can see that almost everything will be completely grounded in a country where nobody can be able to afford the diesel. The petrol is not even available as well. So as at 12:23 p.m. yesterday, there was a total blackout in Nigeria. Industry figures obtained from the Federal Ministry of Power in Abuja show that the power generation on the grid had hit the peak of 4,000 as at Tuesday, but it's dropped from 3,921 up to just 50. What a development that led to the eventually collapse of the national grid. So why is Showore angry with Atiku is the question, because Atiku wrote on his Twitter, I am reliably informed that there was a total national grid collapse at precisely 12:23 p.m. today. This one collapsed too many. It is the 6th time this is happening this year alone. Due to the priority that I place on the power sector, upon which the success of other sectors are hindered, I am proposing innovating financing of infrastructure that will involve the facilitation of review. But remember also, Atiku import the majority of the generator into the country, and that is why Showore has actually attacked Atiku. But reacting to Atiku intervention, Showore alleged that the mismanagement of President Olusegun Obasanjo administration, under which Atiku served as the vice president, was responsible for the recurrent grid collapse. Remember that the national electric grid collapse started when you and Obasanjo invested $16 billion to procure darkness for Nigeria. The Buhari regime came to gazette grid collapse as a law. Alhaji Atiku, don't pretend that you care about the national grid. Hashtag, we can't continue like this. Let me come back for you to the studio, and we're going to look at some of the more headlines coming out of Nigeria this morning. So what a very tough time for Nigerians bread is going to be going on strike. Electricity, as we speak this morning, is now total blackout across Nigeria.
Well, listen, it's quite an interesting story. It's making the rounds from Nigeria. But let me acknowledge a couple of people before I come to look at some of the questions there. Salihu Adio, well done, man of God. Man, he said, God bless you. And then Jimo Moses, he said, Esho, and Sahid Alex, thumbs up to you. Ashina Nuruddin, he said, God bless you all. And then Ashina said, good morning, sir. And Shina gives you a thumb up as well. Thank you very much for you all joining in. But let's come to, some of the stories that we're talking about. The bakers. Now, we're talking about the wheat, the price of wheat. Or the availability of flour, that we know that because of the war in Ukraine, everything is gone through the roof. Here in the UK we're experiencing, so there is that challenge there. But why do they get special support from the federal government?
Well, no sector does get any support, and when you look at what was actually said from that Premium Bread Makers Association, even the policy of the government is literally having a big impact on them. Let's go back into what they were discussing. Honora therefore stated that to ensure the survival of this premium bread making industry in Nigeria, we have decided to embark on a withdrawal of services that will begin today for 4 days in the first instance, where there is no intervention from the government. So there's never been an intervention. We shall escalate the duration of the withdrawal. It continued. The reason for the withdrawal of the service include an incent increase in the price of the baking materials, the federal government 15% on wheat development level on wheat import. Remember that Nigeria do not grow a lot of wheat, and we rely on wheat from outside the country, and most of this also come from Russia and that part of the region that is also going through a lot of crisis. NAFDAC also 154,000 naira penalty charge for late renewal of certificate. The inability of its members to access the grant and the soft loan that has been given by the central bank to the micro and the small medium scale enterprise. Multi-agency regulation of the bread making industry. So you can see that there's a huge compound of problem that the bakers are going through. They can't access the loan. The wheat is not, is not grown in Nigeria because there's no way not that we don't have the fertile land. Remember that the invaders have literally terrorized all the farmers, and as we speak today, that means 4 days beginning from today, the bakers are now on strike.
Well, if you're listening to us, especially in Nigeria, where these bakers are going on this strike, how do you think it's going to impact you? We want you to tell us how, especially those of you who depend and love their bread in the morning, having their bread and cocoa or tea with it and whatever. We want to know what your reaction is on that. Let me say good morning to Adedokun Taiwo. Say thank you, sir. And Sahid Alex says Nigeria is dead. Now, Adesola says, good morning, Mr. Koiki. God bless you. Yoruba Nation, no going back. And Miss Gold says, good afternoon to you. And thank you very much. Continue to let your comments come through. And I promise you one thing for sure, that we're going to read that. But, let's come to the national grid collapse. Now, what do you think is causing it? Is it too much demand for power by various sectors? Because we know industries, if they are getting from the national grid, it's cheaper than buying your own generator or your plant and fueling it with this high price of fuel. So what is causing this grid collapse?
Well, darkness, like we said, national power grid suffer. This is the 6th time, and the question is, what could have been the reason, for these, a lot of independent, expert on these particular issues have asked whether those in charge are capable. Is the first thing, competence. You got to talk about that. The system failure that we said occurred just at about 11:27 a.m. according to the Historical Store led to a crash of the entire power supply nationwide to 40 megawatt or thereabout. But what we can say is that the allocation to the 10 electricity distribution company Disco were zero, except 40 megawatt and 10 megawatt that was going through Abuja and Ibadan Disco, respectively, when the incident occurred. The cause of the system collapse was yet to be ascertained as at the time of this report, which was yesterday. However, the transition company Nigeria, which managed the national grid, has embarked on what we can call an investigation to ascertain the cause of this collapse. This was confirmed in the incident that it is noticed to the customer at the Eco Electric Distribution Company. I said it was in talk with the Transition Company of Nigeria to ascertain the cause of the collapse, possibly restoration in the timeline. What I can always say is that dear customer, we regret to inform you of a system collapse on the national grid. We are in talk with the Transition Company. The Transition Company is the one that is meant to transmit, to some of these, other sector. But like I said, investment has not really been very good. Upgrade has also not been very, very helpful. But the question is, for how long is 62 years of the most populous nation in Africa will continue to remain in darkness from less than 4,000 to just about 50 without no backup? Is the question in the lips of many Nigerians this morning, as so many businesses will fold up if things do not get back as quickly as possible. Remember, Nigerians depend on daily feeding. That means somebody has to go out there, sell a cold water, but if those cold water is not there available for them because the electricity is collapsed, they cannot get petrol, they cannot get diesel, according to the bakers. Nigeria is literally now probably maybe at the verge of breakup.
Well, listeners, 11:27 the time. We have. Let me read some of the comments, and then we come to one bit before you go to some of the other stories there. Saeed Alex says Nigeria is dead. Samsudin says, God bless you, sir. Shina Nuruddin says Nigeria is very bad now. I think pertaining to the rice situation. My apologies, the bakers situation that we're talking, and then gives a thumbs up as well. Kazim Favor Olatunde says that well done, brothers. Nigeria from top to bottom. End Nigeria now to save lives. And then on the YouTube section as well, Ayodele Falaye says a good morning, sir. Yoruba Nation is the only answer. Miss Gold said break Nigeria to save lives. And then Prince Abimbola Oshode says good morning, Mr. Archie and White Lion. Nigeria is dead. Yoruba Nation now. Kehinde Anthony say, please, sir, Mr. Koiki, what will be the hope of completion of our education? Okay, for we in National Open University of Nigeria cause of where the headquarters located after the declaration of Yoruba Nation. Okay, I think that is a question that we need to seek to address when we come to talking about the Yoruba state, everything that was discussed. So he's looking at where you have the universities and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay. But Yomi, you remember Bashegun yesterday also mentioning the fact that the oil refinery in Nigeria, where the oil is, right in the south, and they have the refinery in the north. So I'm not getting. Yesterday I was a bit confused. I was listening to the whole program. I was like, when you study economics, they call something location and localization of industry. So you set up things close to where you can get the resources at. So why do they have to move the refinery all the way there? And is it a sabotage that is going on that is causing all this, because if you are talking about national grid collapsing, it gives way for the one who is importing generators into the country, and those who are bringing more fuel into the country, is good for them. So what exactly is going on?
Well, the problem has always been that the situation that we found ourselves in Nigeria, like you said, you'll expect the refinery to be right very close, to where the crude oil is being extracted from. But rather, they've moved it to location that is not even working in the first place. So all the 4 refineries that we have in Nigeria are literally a waste of money. Nobody, is making any advantage of it apart from the government. But you can see that I think yesterday there was this program that took place I think on Tuesday, when the changes of the NNPC by the federal government. We don't know what they mean by that, but we will wait and see. But the issue with the NNPC is an ongoing crisis that have never been very good, in terms of a country that is meant to be the 6th largest crude oil producer in the world. But rather, we are not producing anything. We are literally taking the crude oil out of the country and bring them back in. So that has been the issue.
Well, listeners, quite interesting. I don't know. So yesterday I was in line with lots of the things that Bashigun was saying. He said it looks like people who are leading are not using their heads, or maybe whether they've not got the qualification to do so. But well, it's all coming your way from Star Radio UK. Icon Hollers, well done to you, and thumbs up to you as well. But it is Star Radio UK 11:31, and let's move on. Moyiwa Oshinuga. Moyiwa Oshinuga, good morning to you, and thank you very much for joining us as well. Now let's go to some of the other stories making the round, sir.
Well, this headline is a very, something that a lot of Nigerians will probably want to know why. Why customs mustn't allow confiscated food stuff to waste. It seems, people are now saying that some of those confiscated food stuff must probably be shared. Let's take a look at it. It is no longer news that almost all the government warehouse across different commands of Nigerian Customs Service are filled up with perishable food stuff, especially bags of foreign parboiled rice. What now makes the news is that some of these commodities are rotting away, while so many Nigerians are dying in abject poverty. At the beginning of the year 2022, the World Bank predicted that the number of Nigerians living in abject poverty will rise to 95.1 million as of 2022 from 89 million recorded in 2020. This figure represents a 6.1 million increase in the space of 2 years. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group has also predicted that 102 million Nigerians may likely be pushed below the poverty line before the end of the year 2022. The federal government had earlier said that no fewer than 11 million Nigerians will be pushed below the poverty line this year as a result of the COVID pandemic. Despite all these high numbers of Nigerians living in abject poverty, the Nigerian customs warehouse are filled up with different contraband perishables, including the bags of foreign parboiled rice, vegetable, clothing, amongst others. Some are no longer fit for human consumption, but recently the acting custom area control in charge of the Federal Operation Unit, while giving the first year report of the unit, told journalists that between January and June 2022, the unit has now seized about 45,928 bags of foreign parboiled rice of 50 kg, which was equivalent to 77 trailer loads among them. If the rice sales figures represent what was made by the single command in 6 months, by the time numbers recorded at the other commands such as Tinkan Island, Apapa, Western Marine, and others from different zones across the country are collated, that figure may grow, in proportion. The question then is, should the custom disburse some of this food to those Nigerians that are probably in need of it? Is the question. Unfortunately, these food items are left to rot in the custody of the custom, while millions of Nigerians wallow in hunger and starvation, unsure of where their next meal will come from. So I don't know whether it's something that you want us to look into. Yeah. But I just because when we talk about poverty, it's not just in Nigeria, even here in UK. Yeah. I think it was about a week ago, the government literally paid here in UK certain amount of money, and I think the next batch will be in the next couple of months, just to cushion those in need of it as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I am shocked. I seem to, let me tell you honestly, I seem to agree with Bashigun yesterday when he said that those who are leading are not using their brains. There are people, 91.5 million people who are in abject poverty. Now you stock all this thing and it will go waste. And you ask yourself the question, what are they there to serve the people, or are they there to serve their stomachs and their families? Is that what they are doing? It's quite a worrying trend that we see down there, and especially across Africa, where you have leaders coming in with all sorts of promises and come to do all that. So I remember during the COVID time, some of the warehouses were broken. Yes, people looting food stuff and stuff like that. Do you think the government will share this one out, or they just going to keep it, maybe get into campaign or election time, rebag it and put their maybe names of their party on it and then go be distributing it? Is that what they want to do?
That has always been the case. I mean, we've seen that happen during the COVID when honorables were repackaging the bags using their own names on it and then distribute it back to Nigerians that are in need of it. But the question is, why have those 45,000 in one particular location be left to rotting away when they can be packaged and then distributed to different communities that are in need of it? Or maybe the government just believe that it's just the deterrent of those that are bringing it. But what about those that probably will be in need of it when it comes to the poverty level? As it says there, more than 89 million, 95 million Nigerians will go into abject poverty before the end of this year.
I mean, if they're saying that they want it to serve as a deterrent to others who want to import, yes, you confiscated it, so they're not going to get it any longer. That is their money gone, so they will not want to do anything about it. They can't do it. Next time, they wouldn't want to import that into the country. But the citizens who are there, who are desperate, who need to go out, and I mean, you see some of the work that people are doing, just trying to make ends meet, just to have one meal. Then you ask yourself, look at, they just fly up and down, come and get medical care and all that stuff there. Do they really think about that? It's sad. Well, let me acknowledge Fawaz Dosumo. He says Nigeria, another Yugoslavia in the making. It's a matter of time. And Walex Salam says, I wish location 419 could break up due to upcoming strike that is about to start. It's interesting. It's interesting. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Sahid Alexis, please let's leave Nigeria, Yoruba nation. Let's leave Nigeria, Yoruba nation. No going back. I don't know whether Yomi has got some of the comments on his side.
No, we're just going straight from the platform here, so we've not been restreaming. So we are just
okay.
So allow everyone to join us on Star Radio UK Direct. So,
okay. Yeah. Now let's come to one of the stories here as well. This pertains to Nigerian government suspending Dana Air operations indefinitely after emergency landing of airlines planes. I mean, you look at most of us from here when we want to travel back home, we get there and then we want to just quickly, because of the transportation, because of trains that people kidnapping people on trains, or all these things that went on, you just want to quickly fly down. So Dana Air, what actually, because of what do you call it, they are saying that emergency landing, so they have to ban the airline indefinitely?
Well, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority suspended indefinitely, like you said, the air transport license and the air operator certificate of Dana Air. This was announced in a statement that was released by the Director General, Captain Musa Nuhu, on Wednesday, stating the suspension of the operation of the airline would take effect from yesterday as well. It disclosed that the suspension order had since also been communicated to the management of the Dana Air. The suspension was made pursuant to Section 35, 2, 3B, and 4 of the Civil Aviation Act 2006 and Part 133A of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulation 2015, according to Nuhu said. Captain Nuhu explained that the decision came after a financial and economic health audit was carried out on the airline by the authority, and the findings of an investigation conducted on the airline flight operation recently, which revealed that Dana Airline was no longer in position to meet its financial obligation and to conduct a safe flight operation. So the reason for that is because their financial obligation and to conduct a safe flight operation. NAC also acknowledged that the negative effect this preemptive decision will have on the airline passengers and the traveling public, and seek the understanding as the safety of the flight operation takes priority over all other consideration. That is coming from the from that message. The airline stated this in a statement posted as well on their Twitter. Reported that Dana Airline says Boeing 737 aircraft with registration number 5NDNA made an emergency landing on approaching Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja after one of his engine developed a fault.
Well, it is happening that is because there is a technical issue and they are doing that fine. But I don't want it to be that, most of our times you see that maybe let's say this company, somebody just takes some money, go and just grease the palm of somebody, and the next moment it's now we've reinstated you, blah blah blah. But if they are doing due diligence so that we can have airworthiness and air safety when we travel, then thumbs up to them. What do you think?
Well, you're quite right. I think when we look at the way the government initially doesn't support most of the businesses, but we have to also make sure that the parity is something that we cannot joke with, because when it comes to the safety of lives everything needs to be done. And if the right thing is to shut down, the Dana airline, I think the government has taken the best decision.
Okay. Aliu Boshe, good morning to you. And Gani Olayomi says, Lord Lugard is dead. Nigeria is dead as well. Okay. Well, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Miss Olayomi Kweke in North London, and I'm actually here in the south of London, where we are bringing you a live program and updates from Nigeria. Over to you, Yomi, with other stories.
Let's go straight to the social media. 11:41 a.m. 21 July 2022. It's still Starr Radio UK. Bishop is trending, and I'm sure it's got to link with the bishop that attended the unveiling of the Tinubu Shetima yesterday. Tinubu people promised me 100,000 naira, but paid only 40,000 naira according to the fake bishop. So it looks like that one has been 419 by the Nigerian APC government yesterday. So it was actually promised 100,000, which is quite a lot of money. If you look at an average salary in Nigeria, it's 18,000 naira. So if anybody promised anybody 100,000, they would do and undo, even if they have to pretend they are the almighty creator. They will do so. So yesterday we saw different individuals that dressed in the Catholic bishop robes, but some were already looking at them properly. Even the outfit do not go according to line. This one also says here, according to Reno Odwala, behold, one of the higher bishop today is an APC convention in 2022. Ugo Ugokwe, APC deputy youth leader in the southeast, is now being unveiled as not the person that he was. After we finished, they only gave me 40,000 naira. Another person got 30,000 naira. I don't know why they changed our agreement, because they say that they will pay us 100,000. Tinubu's team failed to fulfill 100,000 promise. So the question is, if Tinubu could not fulfill the 100,000 to the bishop, is he going to fulfill the dream that the Nigerians are asking when they become the next president in 2023? Let me look at what Simon Ekpa says. So even though Nigeria has collapsed, there is no sanction or noise from the so-called Nigerians that Tinubu and his Islamic party hire mechanics and agbero, dress them like bishop and clergyman to attend their event just to deceive viewers that Christians were in attendance. That is coming from that. So we're going to take one more and I come back to you. Farouk Barogi, the Tinubu Shetima fake bishop saga. The fake bishop misadventure at Tinubu's unveiling of Shetima as his running mate is such a somatic and tragic economic self-own. It both neededly the lack of religious pluralism in the APC presidential ticket as it was. So a lot of people are complaining already about these bishop that were in the robe. So let's take a look at what is trending from the other sector as well this morning. Once again on social media, let's go back and look at what Ilano UK, where we had one of their coordinator yesterday. The controversy and draconian water resources bill is a Fulani Ruga colony in disguise. Plain and simple. No part of #Yoruba ancestral land, waterways and resources must never be seceded to any Ruga colony. Omo Yoruba, protect your waterways, land and territory. And #no going back, Yoruba Nation now. They also talked about the guest that we had, which is their coordinator yesterday as well. Let's take a look at the Biafra this morning before we start winding down, and then we give how many days before the election in Nigeria. So this is coming from Anaya Naftali. He is based in Israel. According to him, I am that Israel who takes to camera about the peace in the Middle East. But this is what he had to say when it comes to Biafra. Why do I stand with the Biafra? The simple answer, #Biafra land. And he did I think a short video according to what I've got in here. So quite a lot of support from there. Also, according to Imuru, by 1777 Biafra was already in existence. This is an evidence of Biafra existence before the creation of Nigeria. Do you see any number of slaves from Nigeria? This shows you how deep #IPOB is digging, both individually, collectively, to unfold our hidden history. So what I've actually got here, from what I've got here in front of me, let's see if we can quickly tell the engineer to bring that to the screen for the benefit of our listeners that are watching us this morning. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So what that is going to come up on the screen, then I'm going to read that quickly in terms of what we have, in terms of the information I've just given. So right there it says volume of English slave trade from Africa between 1960 and 1807. So the total number, when you look at Bright of Biafra, there was 776,400 slaves, about 30% that was taken away between 1690 to 1807. So right there, you can see why that individual says that, and I quote again, by 1771, Biafra was already in existence. And that is right on the screen for those that are watching us as well this morning. So as we're going to be bringing the update finally from this part this morning, we continue to say that Starr Radio UK will continue to monitor the upcoming event across the globe. So right there you can see the Bright of Biafra, 776,000 slaves were moved as well. So how many days will there be an election or no election? Let's give the timeline again on Starr Radio UK. So what we can say is 204 days, 13 hours, 12 minutes, and the seconds keeps going down. The question is, will election hold in Nigeria in 2023, or will there be a dissolution of Nigeria before 2023? Is the answer that a lot of people are waiting to get a result from.
Well, maybe you have the answer, or I have the answer. I'm not sure about that. Maybe you do. But let me acknowledge a couple of people before we run up. Fawaz the Sumu says, I even saw a female bishop. Now, wow. And Olawada Milari Adam says, Adara Funyi Agbadunyi. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Adara Funyi Agbadunyi.
What does that mean?
Adara means to be good for you.
Oh, thank you very much. May it be good to you as well. The Kazim Favor Olatunde says, can you imagine politics in Nigeria? Then don't have respect for they don't have respect for Christians in the country again because of the political ambition. It's obvious. It's obvious what is going on there, but it's all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time now to 11:48, and Mr. Olayomi Koiki is going to leave us. But Yomi, before you go.
Well, don't touch the dial. Stick to us, Archie, to take you through the rest of the segment of the program. I will be back again tomorrow, but remember to keep that water in the bag on your way out because it's very extremely hot on the London Underground. As we continue to tell our listeners also to careful of the kind of meal that you'll be cooking in the house because the temperature is still very, very hot.
Yes. Enjoy the summer as long as it lasts, Here, things just change. Yomi, thank you very much, and we catch up later.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. 11:49 the time. I'm going to bring you some lovely tune, and then we'll continue the show from there. So please don't you go away. This time around from the man himself, Raskimono, and he says Under Pressure. Enjoying the music. Sahid says, total power to you as well, and to you as well. We go on fighting. We never give up. Ebun Enilobo. Okay, I hope I pronounce your name well. It's a bless you richly, Archie. Love your program always. Thank you very much for your patronage as well. Shina Nuruddin, lots of love to you as well. Enjoy the music. Oh my goodness, Sina is on the dance floor now.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
No food, we belly, no money in our pocket, no bed, we ate. The people, they must suffer in a ghetto, in a city, everywhere that me go, me see them. Some are cry, some are die, some are weeping, some are wailing, everywhere that me go. Under pressure we will, under pressure everybody, under pressure black and white, under pressure Europeans, under pressure. Can't get no food if you go, feel we belly, feel it with you too, no have no mother, feel it with you too, no have no father, feel it with you too, no have no brother, feel it with you too, no have no sister. I'm a kimono, me just shouting to you. Under pressure we will, under pressure.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Under pressure Africans, under pressure. Under pressure Nigerians.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Time now, 6 minutes to the top of the hour. I'll be announcing the lines open in the next few moments. But Sheena, thanks to you too for joining as well. He say yes, so Niger under pressure. But continue to bring your comments in though. The updates from Nigeria is finished yet. We are still on the show till 1 o'clock when the curtains are brought down, so feel free, share whatever you want to share with us, and I promise you I'm gonna read that. But before we take another commercial break, let me just quickly bring you a quick announcement, social, and then we'll move on from there. Now, Inspire Day Nursery is announcing Summer Barbecue 2022 today, on Saturday. Yes, this Saturday, the 23rd day of July, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be at a 68 Women Road in Croydon. The postcode is CR02XP. 68 Women Road, Croydon, CR02XP. There are going to be games, bouncy castle, face painting, music, raffle, and great food as well. Tickets in advance, £3 per person. Babies under 1 come for free. And more on the door. Please bring money and a spirit of giving. All proceeds will go to the Noah's Ark Children's Hospice. So please make your way this Saturday to 68 Women Road, where Inspire Day Nursery is organizing this wonderful barbecue. And then come Saturday, the same Saturday, 11 a.m. Well, the Ladies to Ladies Conference is going to be taking place here in Croydon. Yes, and we'll be having Pastor Sandra and her team all gathering there with all the ladies, and it is exactly on Saturday. Well, but we're going. No, my apologies. Coming Saturday, that's the 30th. Okay, the 30th. But we're going to be having the team on this Faith Talk on Sunday, where they will bring you some more secrets that the Ladies to Ladies Conference is going to be bringing your way. But let's take a quick commercial and then we continue with the program. I'll be opening the line just after that as well.
All ladies, you are invited to our premier 13th annual Women's Conference Lady to Lady Global Conference 2022. Theme, Joy. Date, Saturday, 30th July. Doors open at 11 a.m. Venue, Conference Hall, the Phoenix Theater, Croydon, CR 923, United Kingdom. Register on www.ladytoladyglobal.org. Music Minister CLC Healing Voices. Simeon. Queenie. Ada Ahi.
Congratulations, I have seen the glory of God.
Conference speakers Reverend Betty King, Pastor Marjorie, Pastor Sandra.
I did come to Lady, and from that day onwards, my life has never been the same.
See you there.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business, but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Yes, the Property Hour will be coming your way this evening exactly at 19 hours BST with KB Bossman and Vicky Newton presenting that program. So please join in if you want to get your foot on the property ladder. It doesn't matter whether it's here in the UK or back on in Africa, whatever. The principles are the same, so you apply them and you are able to. Though here conditions are more favorable for you to get that. And that's what I would want to say there. But let me announce the lines open because it's 12 o'clock now. If you want to join in the conversation, 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. Now, if you happen to be in the US or Canada or the Caribbean area, it is 001-718-303-2737. 001-718-303-2737. You can also text or WhatsApp at 075-3966-1744. 075-3966-1744. Our Twitter handle is at Starr Radio UK and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Stay with me. Don't you go away at all. Starr Radio UK. Now, let's crack on. Let's look at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Shina, yes, love you all. Love you too. Okay. Now, let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Well, in Ghana, the Ghana Police Service is the most corrupt institution in the country. A research conducted by the Ghana Statistical Services has said. It says that in total, 24 institutions were sampled for the said survey. The research was christened Corruption in Ghana, People's Experience and View. Now, the survey aimed to unearth corrupt institutions and provide data that will guide the formulation of policies in arresting the menace. Now, according to the survey, more than 17.4 million bribes were paid in 2021, with police officers topping the list of officials who take bribes at 53.2%. Gosh, that is quite a huge chunk. If it was an election, they would have won, right? Africa. Now, the Ghana Immigration Service officers and GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority, customs officers followed in that order. And you know what? During the pandemic, you know what happened? The borders, they were saying the borders were shut and people could not. I know that the eastern border of Ghana was shut for a very long time. You know what they were doing? People were coming through. Like always, coming through all the non-official routes coming in, and these border guards and all those people were there letting those people through as well, taking some bribes. That's how they were doing. The two institutions garnered 37.4% and 33.6% respectively. That's the Ghana Immigration Service and the GRA Customs. Now, while elected government representatives are at the bottom of the list at 2.9%. So, well, elected individuals who are taking bribes there, because most of them they don't take it that way. They get a back kick. Is it a back kick that they are getting, or they inflate the prices and they put their percentage on, which they will take? Meanwhile, they are being paid. The survey also stated that people with the highest level of tertiary education were 1.6 times more likely to have paid a bribe than people with no formal education. Now, again, 10 out of 16 regions in the country recorded a prevalence of bribery higher than the national average. So, which were the top areas? There are, however, sizable variations across the 16 regions of the country. The prevalence of bribery in the Bono, East, Savannah, and Volta regions, for example, is substantially lower than the national rate at 11.8, 14.5, and 19.1% respectively. Also, in the Western, North Ahafo, and Northeast regions, bribery is substantially higher at 53.4 and then 47.0 and 41.9% respectively. Well, so which area do you think will be the topmost region for bribery? Is it Greater Accra, or is it Ashanti region, or the Western region? Now they have Western what? Well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. But do you think there's a point where we'll be able to eradicate corruption from our systems at all? Well, maybe the introduction of the biometric cards by the Vice President, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, will resolve that. So everything that you are doing, so to say, if you are not doing even cash transactions, you are using just card. You can still you can do bank transfer, Abby. Oh well. Maybe you don't want the trace, so you have to cash the money. Now, Kenneth Oriacha must resign over IMF U10. Kwabena Japan has also said there, and let me bring that your way. The former General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Kwabena Japan, has called for the resignation of Finance Minister Kenneth Oriacha. His call is based on Ghana's return to the International Monetary Fund, despite earlier claims by the Finance Minister about the country's bright economic prospects. Speaking yesterday, he explained that the contradiction between the Finance Minister's assuring remarks and the country's subsequent requests for an IMF bailout should be enough grounds for him to step aside. I will think that on the basis of what he said 2 weeks before to the country, which that we will never go to the IMF and that we are a proud country with the resources, when you speak like that, you should look yourself in the mirror and say, look, I got it wrong. Mr. President, I thank you for giving me the opportunity and I should stand down, resign, stand down and resign, he told hosts of a program there. But interestingly, do you think he's going to stand down and resign? I don't think so. The suggestion by Mr. Japan adds to a series of calls urging the finance minister to resign over his poor management of the economy. Now, notably, notable personalities like ex-president John Dramani Mahama and a former chief of staff under the Kufuor regime, Kwejo and Pieni, have all impressed upon Mr. Oriacha to quit his job. In a Facebook post on July the 2nd, John Mahama said Mr. Oriacha has already lost his credibility, trust and confidence that after he supervised the disastrous collapse of the economy. He intimated that the finance minister should not be added to the team of negotiators engaging the International Monetary Fund for economic support. Then, as to whether they did that, we're not very sure. In addition, given its obvious failures, the vice president must be relieved of his responsibility as chair of the economic management team to enable the president to reconstitute the team. Now, it goes on to say we must draw the useful lessons from this episode and avoid cheap politicking with economy that can only yield the disastrous outcomes that have brought us here, Mahama further emphasized. On his part, Mr. Kwejo Pieni said Kenneth Oriacha must take a personal decision to resign. He goes on further to say, honestly, if I were the finance minister, from my utterances and then what has been happening, I bet what I'm going to do, I will just go and say to Mr. President, thank you so much. I think it's best for me to sit back for another person to take over. But that doesn't happen in Ghana. Not in Africa. No. When the person is even carrying the whole bucket of water or this and it's all taped, we say, oh yeah, there is hope. He's still carrying the bucket, and therefore, meanwhile, there is nothing in there. Well, so what do you think? So honestly, if I were the minister from my utterances, I'll tell him, Mr. President, thank you very much. I think it's best for me to sit back for another person to take over. That would be my personal decision. But I'm not going to tell any president to drop the finance minister or any minister. That should be left to the president, he also said there. So do you think that it's about time that the Minister for Finance and Economic Planning in Ghana, Mr. Kenneth Oriacha, should step down? Or maybe in your view, he's doing a good job, so all that he has to do is to just keep on keeping on, as is done in Africa all the time? Well, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. Now, when it comes to some other stories making the rounds in Ghana still, minority are working with government to stop Ghana turning into Sri Lanka. Now, the other time, I think about a week ago or thereabout, or a few days, I think about a week ago, yes, a security expert, I think Adam Bonner, if I'm not getting it wrong, they say that, well, what is happening in Sri Lanka, Ghana should not shy off from it happening to it. And I was saying that is a serious clarion call, because it's saying that The people of Sri Lanka are thinking that this shouldn't happen. We won't take it any longer, and decided to go on the street and happen to get the Prime Minister and the President out. Now, another president has been sworn in as to whether they will be able to sort things out or put things in order for people to say, okay, now let's see. I think giving us some sacrifices or giving us some time, maybe a year on, 2 years on, maybe we'll plateau, we'll get to a place where maybe we are surviving. But the minority are saying that they are doing their best to stop that from happening in Ghana. The minority of parliament, leader of parliament, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, has revealed that the minority group in parliament is working together with President Akufo-Addo to salvage and save the Ghanaian economy, and more importantly, to avoid sinking into a Sri Lanka situation. Haruna Idrisu, who was speaking at the end of a recent workshop by the minority caucus in the Volta region, added that the country is headed in the wrong direction and something must be done to salvage it. So what do you think? Is it the sacking or stepping down of the finance minister and some people who are supposed to be the economic advisors or whatever they are? He noted that his side of the house and President Akufo-Addo's government will be working together to avoid a Sri Lankan situation happening in Ghana. The Tamale South MP also reiterated the minority's claim that Electoral Commission is seeking to make the Ghana card the sole requirement for the purposes of voters registration ahead of election 2024, contrary to the position of the EC. The Tamale South MP also made reference to a constitutional instrument that the Electoral Commission is seeking to introduce to Parliament. He went on further to say, according to him, contrary to what the EC wants the public to believe, the draft CI will make Ghana card the sole requirement for the purpose of registration, while urging the EC not to do things that will destabilize the country. But if every Ghanaian is said to have this card, okay, the biometric card, or the Ghana card as they call it, then if that is the sole requirement for you to be registered, is there anything wrong? Or at what point do they get it? Are people giving this Ghana card? At what age? And a few things like that. I'll be trying to see whether we can get somebody on from one of those political parties to come and throw more light on it. And let me take this opportunity to say good morning to Mr. Kate Yorson of the PPP. Mr. Yorson, good morning to you. I'll be catching up with you later on. But well, it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, Parliament has approved a controversial 750 million Afrexim Bank loan. And what is that money meant for? Parliament has approved the controversial 750 million Afrexim Bank loan following a U-turn by the minority. This follows a plea from Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to members of the Finance Committee that the country will go bankrupt without the facility. The minority had shut down the two separate loan agreements amounting to $1 billion, raising concerns especially about the 50 million insurance for the 250 million facility. Now, speaking to the report of the Finance Committee on the floor of Parliament for the approval of the 750 million, the minority stated that they will have approved the loan save the nation, though the facility will compound Ghana's already precarious debt situation. Majority MPs, however, argued the facility is for a good cause such as infrastructural development. They also refuted assertion that the President Addo's administration has run down the economy. That's the situation the country finds itself in. If they say they've not done that, what have they done? In responding to the majority side, the minority leader Haruna Idrisu once again asked government to stop the blame game and accept responsibility for economic crisis the country is in. He goes on further to say, my apologies. He goes on further to say, he added that the He added the facility, part of which will be used for roads in Swami, is to stop attacks on MPs for the area and its majority counterparts, Osechi Mensa Bonsu. So it's because of them that they are undertaking that infrastructure. So not because they wanted to benefit what do you call them, the citizens, but because citizens were angry and were taken to arms against the elected or their MPs in that area. That is why they are embarking on that journey. Well, if that is why they are doing so, then good luck to them there. Good luck to them there. It's all coming away from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A 12:15, the time. Star Radio UK and the morning show. That's why MP and Ministers of Parliamentary Affairs, however, refused to claim the recent attacks on him by constituents got government to quickly present separate facilities, including this one from construction of roads in his constituency. Chair Mensa Bonsu also refuted claims from minority. Some of the projects listed for the $750 million facility have already had funds approved for them by Parliament. Are they doing diligence to what is going on there when it comes to the finances of the country? Well, you and I were not there, so we wouldn't know, will we? Well, but it's all coming away from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, government has come out to refute its debt to the Buffer Stock Company, where it's alleged that they are owing them 340 million Ghana cedis. The Minister for Education has come to refute or dispute that claim, and then okay, so we'll be following it very, very closely. But there have been issues where we had the Church of Pentecost also donating issuing a check of 30,000 to one of its schools in the eastern region where it's government assisted, because the free SHS people are there for free. But the situation has become that desperate that churches or some communities have to, some parents associations have to find the money to present to the schools for them to I mean, poor. Well, but I'm asking the question, will this serious or difficult or challenging situation that the country is going through at this juncture, do you think we have to suspend the free SHS and then we just do it means tested, so that those who can't afford at all are the ones who are helped, who have the free, and then those who can afford can go on to pay contribute something until we find ourselves out of this deep hole that we've dug for ourselves. Okay, punishing Agongo for supplying immensely beneficial lethal weight fertilizer is very painful, National Best Farmer has said. The National Best Farmer for 2017, Mr. Bafo Kwejima, has told Justice Clements Honug's court in the ongoing 271 million financial loss case against the ex-CEO of Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Stephen Kwabena Puni. Okay, is it Opuni or Agongo? Okay, let me get the name right. Or Kwabena Opuni. It says that and businessman Seidu Agongo, that punishing the latter for supplying the state agency with the immensely beneficial lethal weight liquid fertilizer, which was in turn distributed to farmers for use, will be very painful to the beneficiaries. Asked by Fafa Nutsukoi during a chat who held brief for Mr. Benson Nosupi, one of the counsel for Mr. Agongo and his company Agricult, about what his reaction was to the fact that Mr. Agongo was being and his company have both been held before the court to be punished for causing financial loss to the state in connection with supply of lethal weight fertilizer to Cocoa Board. Mr. Ajiman said, when that happens, it will be very painful to the farmers, because the liquid fertilizer we use was immense benefit to us. So what exactly is happening there? Is it a political witch hunt? Now, if there was a procurement breaches there, why are they not addressing that? You get it. There are a few issues here and there, and are they trying to? Have they brought these people before the courts because they think that the fertilizers were not worth it or did not do what they're supposed to do? Well, it's all coming away from Starr Radio. Okay, Ayodele Ajadi, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining us as well. But it's all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, would that clarion call bring about an end to this pursuing of justice against these people? Okay, now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of Africa. Now, about a month ago, thereabout, I did put some posts on the Facebook. This pertains to what was happening in Morocco when it comes to migration, where in was it in a cordoned area where they were in people were being whipped, kicked, boots, I mean whatever, name it, all that was going on because some blacks who were trying to enter into Europe through that particular place were being treated like animals. Well, when we put that message across, it was further to the UN, and then they said that they were doing diligence to what was sent to them. But the Moroccan Association for Human Rights have released a report on Wednesday putting the death toll from last month's attempt by hundreds of migrants to storm the border between the North African Kingdom and the Spanish enclave of Melilla higher than the official government tally. The human rights watchdog known as the AMDH said at least 27 people, mostly from Sudan, South Sudan and Chad, died in the attempt, with that number likely to rise as many more suffered severe injuries and 64 people remained missing. Where are they? Because I could tell you, if you look at the premises where these people were lying, and what was being, they've been, I mean, they use what do you call it, rubber clips or something to hold their hands behind them. They were lying on the floor. That places are these are areas where the temperatures they are temperate areas, and these people were lying on the floor, the bare floor, in the dust, not in the dust outside somewhere. And you look at the whole situation and say, why should blacks be treated that way? Why? We've seen Mexicans trying to cross, South Americans trying to cross through Mexico to get to the US. There have never been a circumstance where any of them have been arrested, most of them put on the floor and their hands tied at their backs, and people kicking them as if they were animals. But the AMDH NADO official Omar Naji said the Moroccan and Spanish authorities used smoke bombs and tear gas to disperse the migrants who had gathered at the Barrio Chino crossing area, which separates the Moroccan city of Nado from Melilla, leading to many dying of asphyxiation, although autopsies have not yet been carried out. Why would they carry it out when they're talking about more than 60 missing? In addition to the death of 200 Moroccans and Spanish law enforcement officers, and more than 70 civilians were injured in the melee. Now, AMDH NADO section President Mohammed Amin also said 64 people remain missing as of last Friday. The group released its preliminary report on Wednesday, saying it was based on an investigation conducted by its affiliate in Nado. The report said around 1,500 migrants and asylum seekers departed that day from nearby forests and arrived at the Barrio Chino crossing area at around 9 a.m. They tried to open the main gate and started climbing the checkpoints. Yes, they're breaking the law, but no, they shouldn't be treated like animals. That I wouldn't agree to it at all. At the moment, Moroccan authorities began throwing stones and smoke bombs at the migrants, throwing stones at them and smoke guns at the migrants, causing many to die of suffocation. Now, those who tried to escape and desperately reach the fence perished in a stampede that was made worse by the heavy use of tear gas, it added. He said Moroccan officers did not use lethal force, but some beat wounded migrants lying on the ground. So now they are confirming that. Well, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So what will be done to them? Will they face any justice? So when I hear such stories and I look at our leaders, the leaders of our countries, who are sitting in their air-conditioned cars, air-conditioned offices and everything, where is the taxpayers' money that's being used to furnish that way of that kind of life for them, and they don't care a hoot about what goes on, then I get very, very worried. So I ask myself the question, why should the event in Sri Lanka not happening there? Because this is desperation that has caused these people to do, knowing that, well, if we go, there's a tendency that we will die, yet we have to go and die if need be. What do you think? What do you think? It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie. Now, still looking at some other stories making the rounds on the African continent. DRC's Mukwege criticizes Tshisekedi's handling of security in the East is one of the stories making the round, and Egypt to boost economic and political cooperation with Serbia. Okay, Egypt is trying to extend its tentacles into Serbia as well. Now, the story says the Congolese doctor Denis Mukwege, 2018 Nobel Peace Prize winner Denis Mukwege, expressed fears Wednesday about the security situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, saying President Felix Tshisekedi's diplomacy is contributing to worsening instability. The regional diplomacy of the president of the DRC is objectively leading us towards prolongation and aggravation of the instability in the provinces of North Kivu and Ituri, Mukwege said, quoted in a statement. Dr. Mukwege made the statement after the announcement of the deployment of the regional force of the Community of East African States in Eastern DRC, where more than 100 armed groups are active. We are very circumspect that beyond the partnership with the United Nations mission in the DRC, MONUSCO, the President of the Republic has been engaged in bilateral military cooperation with Uganda for 6 months, and more recently in a project of regional military cooperation and with member states of the EAC, he added. For Dr. Mukwege, the already difficult and ineffective superposition of these different forces in the DRC looks like a chronicle of predicted chaos. In mid-June, like many inhabitants of Eastern Congo, Dr. Mukwege expressed his opposition to the deployment of a regional force composed of countries at the root of destabilizing atrocities and looting of our resources, he wrote. In April, the DRC joined Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, and South Sudan in the EAC. Fundamental questions about the rules of engagement of the new regional force, its mandate, objectives, duration, and political and legal responsibilities are only opaquely answered because these agreements have been not very transparent, Mukwege added. Well, maybe it's something that they can do to bring about the peace or keep the peace in that part of the world. Why not? Why not? But well, this is all coming your way from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to be taking a break, and once we come back, we'll move on to other parts of the... Okay, let me just bring you this, and then we leave Africa there. Mali's military authorities dismissed on Wednesday the spokesperson for the United Nations multi-dimensional integrated stabilization mission in Mali, MINUSMA. UN Representative Olivier Salgado is given 72 hours to leave the Sahelian nation. In a statement, Malian, the government cited 10 tendentious and unacceptable posts he made on Twitter regarding the case of the 49 Ivorian soldiers arrested in Mali on Sunday, July the 10th. Now, Ivory Coast insists soldiers arrested in Mali are part of the MINUSMA. Now, Ivory Coast, the foreign ministry statement slammed Salgado's post as remarks declaring without any proof that the Malian authorities have been previously informed of the 49 soldiers' arrival. The 2 aircrafts carrying the Ivorian contingent landed in Bamako airport, according to a statement from the Ivory Coast government issued on July 12. The soldiers operate under an agreement signed in July 2019 between Ivory Coast and the United Nations, and in accordance with a security and logistical support contract signed with Société Sahel Aviation Services (SAS). The Malian government considers them mercenaries which embarked with weapons of war. And that is a costly mission. The incident takes place against a backdrop of problems in Mali. Thousands of people have died and hundreds of thousands have been displaced in the jihadist campaign, which began in northern part of the country in 2012 and then spread to Niger and Burkina Faso 3 years later. MINUSMA, launched in 2013, is one of the UN's biggest peacekeeping operation with 17,609 troops, police, civilians and volunteers deployed as of April, according to the mission's website. It's also one of the most dangerous UN mission with 275 fatalities from attacks, accidents or other causes, according to the website. Well, we'll follow it very closely and see what happens from there. But it's all Star Radio UK, 11:32 the time. Let's take a commercial break. We come back and I'll bring you the rest of the program. Stay tuned and don't you go away. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program, Star Radio UK. 12:36 the time. I've got 24 minutes to bring the program to a close. But if you want to share your comments, feel free to do so. You want to call in? Yes, feel free to do so as well. The numbers are 0208 133 2257 or 58. That is 0208 133 2257 or 58. Okay, make sure your dials are logged on and continue to listen to us as well. Those of you in the US, Canada, and the Caribbean area, it is 0017183032737 0017183032737, and then you can text or WhatsApp at 0753966174 0753966174. Our Twitter handles at Star Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Well, Star. All right then. Now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Starting from yeah, don't worry, we'll come to the UK pretty soon. No intelligence that Putin is ill, CIA chief is saying. We saw Putin in Syria just few in what do you call that place, Iran, just few days ago. So what is it that some are saying that Putin is ill? He's not ill, he's well and doing. And then Ivana Trump's funeral is held in New York City, and we can see former President Trump and his wife both going there. I'll be trying to bring you some stories. And Ukraine First Lady says son wants to be a soldier. Olena Zelenska is in the US, where she raised the plight of other children in the conflict. And Italian Prime Minister Draghi resigns after a week of turmoil. Yesterday we didn't talk about that, but now he's decided to fall on his sword. Now, a year and a half after he was appointed as Italy's unelected head of unity government, Mario Draghi has resigned as prime minister. He told the president, Sergio Mattarella, he was standing down after three parties in his government refused to back him in a confidence vote the night before. The president asked him to remain as caretaker leader, and early elections are expected this autumn. Now, far-right leader Giorgia Meloni is already being tipped to win. Now, Mr. Draghi, 74, was a popular choice as prime minister, dubbed Super Mario for his handling of the Eurozone crisis as head of European Central Bank. In February last year, he was given the task of guiding Italy through COVID pandemic and economic recovery, bolstered by a big EU package conditional on major reforms. Now, before heading to the presidential palace, the colonel Mr. Draghi was given a round of applause in the lower house of parliament. Even central bankers have their hearts touched sometimes. Thank you for all the work done in this period, he told MPs. He first tendered his resignation a week ago when the Populist Party in his broad-based government refused to back an economic package for business and families. Now, President Mattarella had asked him to stay in post, and after days of silence, Mr. Draghi told the upper house of parliament he will continue if the political parties were prepared to back a strong, cohesive government government. In a quote, he said, "Are the parties and you parliamentarians ready to rebuild the pact?" For several hours, Italians waited with bated breath for the answer before 3 of the parties decided they will not back him in a vote of confidence. Mario Draghi is out. Super Mario, he did it best. There's so much turmoil all around the globe or the world, and what is happening there, we'll be looking into that as well. Key Russian pipeline resumes pumping gas to Europe. So what is happening there? There have been fears Moscow will not restart the flows in response. Russia has resumed pumping gas to Europe through its biggest pipeline after warnings it could keep or halt supplies altogether. The Nord Stream 1 pipeline restarted following a 10-day maintenance break, but at a reduced level. On Wednesday, the European Commission urged countries to cut gas use by 15% over the next 7 months in case Russia switched off Europe's supply. Now, Russia supplied Europe with 40% of its natural gas last year. Now, Germany was the continent's largest importer in 2020, but has reduced its dependence on Russian gas from 55 to 35%. Eventually, it wants to stop using gas from Russia altogether. Now, Russia's President Vladimir Putin has sought to play down fears, promising that state gas firm Gazprom would fulfill all its contractual obligations. His spokesman Dmitry Peskov denied Russia was using gas for political blackmail, but the pipeline is only delivering 40% of its capacity, and the head of Germany's network regulation warned that the resumption of gas flows was not a sign that tensions were easing. The political uncertainty and the 60% cut from mid-June unfortunately remains. Klaus Moller tweeted. Now, Gazprom cut the flow of gas through Nord Stream 1 last month, blaming the delayed return due to sanctions of a key piece of equipment which have been serviced in Canada. The turbine is now believed to be on its way back to Russia, but President Putin recently said that if it's not returned, supply would have to be reduced further. He has also pointed out that another machine is due to be sent for service soon, according to Russia's TASS news. So that's what, if you dare hold it as a ransom, we're gonna cut the gas. Oh my goodness, when will all this end? 18 minutes to 12 the time. Starr Radio UK, the station, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station. Now, so and there have been questions pertaining to the health of Putin. So I'm thinking that he's got some tumor that's making his brain go cuckoos and making him behave that way. Some are thinking that he's got cancer. There's a lot of allegations going around, but there's no intelligence that Vladimir Putin is unstable or in bad health. The director of CIA has said there has been increasing unconfirmed media speculation that Mr. Putin, who has turned 70 this year, may be suffering from ill health, possibly cancer. But William Burns said there was no evidence to suggest this, joking that he appeared too healthy. The Kremlin has again dismissed the reports of Mr. Putin's ill health as nothing but fakes. Now, it came as the US announced it will provide Ukraine with more long-range weapons. Earlier, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Russia's military focus in Ukraine was no longer only the East, and implied Moscow's strategy had changed after the West supplied Ukraine with such weapons. So what are they going to do? Are they now thinking of capturing the whole of Ukraine? So if it's not just no longer focusing on Ukraine, was not only the East, are they going to take, and then what is going to happen? Are they going to go on just bombarding the Ukrainians? That's going to be a very, very sad situation there, you know. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, where we want to make sure that everything that is going on we bring your way, so you are well informed. From archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, as I say all the time, it's making the headlines. Why not? we're gonna touch on it. Okay. One other story that pertains to Sri Lanka, as I did say earlier on. Well, Ranil Wickremesinghe, Sri Lanka sees new president sworn into office. So who is going to be his deputy or the prime minister? But apparently he is in cahoots with the former president and his brother, with that family. He's in cahoots with them. So the citizens don't like him as much. The 73-year-old took his oath at the tight guarded Parliament complex on Thursday. Mr. Wickremesinghe, the former prime minister, is seen as deeply unpopular with the public, but some protesters have said they will give him a chance. Now, Sri Lanka has seen months of mass unrest over an economic crisis. Now, many blame the Rajapaksa administration for mishandling the nation's finances and see Mr. Wickremesinghe as part of the problem, but there were few demonstrations on the street the day after Mr. Wickremesinghe won the parliamentary vote. Now, he is here and we will see what his actions are. If we don't get any food, any medicine, we'll be on the street. One woman who had joined protests last week said. Well, those are some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, Bloody Friday victims' families deserve the truth. It's one of the stories that has been captured. One of the son of the victim have said. The son of a bus driver murdered by the IRA on Bloody Friday in Belfast has said he would like to know the full truth of what happened. 9 people died and more than 130 were injured when 19 bombs exploded in little over an hour on the 21st of July 1972. Makes it how many years? 50 years. Now, Robert Gibson, whose father, Jackie, who was 45, was killed at Oxford Street bus station, said the truth is something everybody deserves. He believes there may be people still alive who can provide answers. Bloody Friday ranks among the most notorious days of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. The car bombs were placed at commercial premises and transport hubs in and around Belfast city centre, exploding one by one after 14 hours BST. Flying glass and debris from the blast caused deep lacerations to people caught in the open, while many people lost arms and legs in the explosion. The fireballs which followed caused horrific injuries. One ambulance worker said a victim he encountered was so badly injured that a specialist doctor had to look at them and decide whether they were male or female, virtually check their organs to see which of them they are. But it's all coming your way from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so it says that they want the truth. Can the truth be provided for them or what? Okay, so looking at some of the stories now, long-running weekend night tube strike has been called off. Somebody say that's some good news for those who like night raving. Now, long-running weekend strikes on London's night tube have been suspended after the Rail, Maritime and Transport Union (RMT) union accepted a concession from London Underground about routes. The bodies have agreed to have a minimum number of drivers who prefer to work overnight on each line. The RMT stressed the dispute was not resolved and the situation will be reviewed in 3 months at the latest. The ongoing weekend strikes action began in January and was planned until December. The union said industrial action had been taken to prevent the ripping up of staffing arrangements that will wreck their work-life balance of drivers. Now, previously, London Underground Nick Dent said the new rotas meant tube drivers would have to work up to 4 night shifts, weekends each year, and that London Overground had guaranteed this. There will be no job losses. On the suspension of the walkout, Mr. Dent said, "We are pleased." Well, pleased? Well, I hope that they don't come back to come and bite. All right? All right then. So got a few moments before we bring the program to a close. BBC is to pay damages to former royal nanny. Why? The BBC is to pay damage to ex-nanny to Prince William and Harry over false claims made about her to obtain a 1995 Princess Diana interview. And Alexandra Pettifer, known as Tiggy, received an apology at the High Court over totally unfounded claims she had an affair with Prince of Wales. Her solicitor said the false claims had caused serious personal consequences. A probe has already found Panorama's Martin Bashir used fake documents to gain access to Diana. The BBC said it was extremely sorry for the serious and prolonged harm caused to Mrs. Pettifer and her family. In an agreed statement read out in court, Mrs. Pettifer's solicitor Louise Prince said the claims had included the very serious and totally unfounded allegation that the claimant was having an affair with HRH Prince of Wales. She said Mrs. Pettifer had not known the source of the claims over the last 25 years, but it was likely that these false and malicious allegations arose as a result in the context of a BBC Panorama effort to procure an exclusive interview with Diana, Princess of Wales. Ms. Prince said the former nanny was relieved that the BBC accepts the allegation are completely untrue and without any foundation whatsoever. The corporation will pay Mrs. Pettifer a substantial undisclosed sum and her legal costs. Now, you know where that money is coming from. It's coming from your TV license. Oh my, oh my, oh my. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 8 minutes to the top of the hour. Now, October date for in the Rev 2 case set for 11th of October. Supreme Court date for in the Rev 2 case set for 11th October. A key court case that will allow the Scottish Parliament to legislate for another independence referendum will hear arguments in October, the Supreme Court has said. The Scottish Government wants judges to settle whether MSPs could legislate for a vote without Westminster's backing. But UK law officers argue this is premature and want the case thrown out without a ruling either way. The hearing will take place in London on the 11th and the 12th of October. The panel for the case will be announced at the end of September. Will there be another Scottish independence referendum? That's a question on the lips of people. But judges have said they want to hear the full arguments from both sides before coming to a decision. The two parties have until the 9th of August to make written submissions. Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon wants to hold a vote on the 19th of October 2023 and is pushing for an agreement with the UK's government to allow this. A similar deal led to Scotland's independence referendum in 2014. So in the in the Rev 2, is it going to happen or not? Well. It's all Starr Radio UK, but that will be under the watch of these two, whoever comes out on top. Or comes up on top. Conservative leadership, Liz Truss says Tory economic policy choked growth. So what is it going to do? Is it going to be promising more money? And then, then everybody... Or are we going to get Rishi Sunak, who's going to be in? Now, when I look at Rishi Sunak and then I look at Priti Patel. Now, Priti Patel was put in the place, and Priti Patel behaves as if she's a Caucasian. I mean, she's not a migrant at all. And so the way she deals with immigration, at times I ask myself, really? Is that where you were? Do you remember how you got into this country? People have to show you that favor, accept you, and then that's what brought you here. So if people in desperation are taking all means of getting here, I'm not saying, I don't think those who have been doing that trafficking people and stuff like that is not on. That is not on. That's not what I'm talking about. Where people will have been put in some dinghy and little kids, boats capsize, they are killed and that. No. But when people come in genuinely, we don't have to. They put the threshold so high that it's so difficult. And therefore, somebody who is that desperate thinks the only way is the leper's theory. We say here we die, we go, we might die. If we don't die, we succeed. And that is what keeps them, or keep them still going on. So my worry is, if we put Rishi Sunak there, will minority in this part of the world be maligned? Or it will be something that he will try to do something good, or make policies that will favor minorities as well. What do you think? We've seen it several times where people who are from minorities were put in a place and they dealt evil, badly, than even the inhabitants of that particular country. But maybe he might be a Joseph. Who knows? Well. The economic policies of previous Conservative and Labour governments over 20 years have not delivered growth. Tory leadership candidate Liz Truss has said, they've been in office for more than 10 years. They continue to say, you know what? It is Labour. Ms. Truss has criticized tax increases introduced by her rival Rishi Sunak, arguing they choked off growth. But ex-Chancellor Mrs. Sunak has promised to cut taxes and unleash economic growth once inflation came down. And when will inflation come down? When the prices of fuel keeps on skyrocketing. Now, Tory MPs chose the pair to enter the runoff to be the next Prime Minister. Economic policies has become the main battleground as the rivals battle to win over the party's members who will vote for their preferred candidate from next month. The party's roughly 160,000 members will vote online or by post, with a final result due in September, when Prime Minister Boris Johnson will leave office. The head-to-head leadership contest is intensifying as Ms. Truss made her pitch in an interview with the BBC, describing herself as someone who will drive through change. She said, "We have had a consensus of the Treasury of economists with the Financial Times and other outlets peddling a particular type of economic policy for 20 years. It hasn't delivered growth." Now, Ms. Truss and those in the Treasury, where she once worked under Conservative government, do have economic orthodoxy, and they do resist change. What people in Britain desperately need now is change, Ms. Truss has said. Well, is that what is going to happen? I don't know. You and I were not there, but at least we were here this morning to talk about it. So let me say thank you very much to each and every one of you who joined in today to listen to us, to watch us, or to view us, whichever is appropriate, and to as many of you who text in, and as many of you, whatever you did, I want to salute each and every one of you. I say thank you very much for tuning in and joining us on this program. God willing, tomorrow I'll be back with a Friday edition of the morning show. However, this evening, exactly at 6 o'clock, the repeat broadcast of BB Means Business show that couldn't take place last Tuesday due to the technical upgrade that was going on will be coming on exactly at 6 p.m. and it will be followed at 7 by KB Bossman, Vicky Newton on the Property Hour. But this afternoon, there's going to be a lot of music. And of course, let's talk. What about that? On that note, I say have a top of the day and bye-bye for now. But enjoy this song from Aloha Radio, saying that a cover version of Bob Marley's song, The Sun is Shining. And of course, you look out there, the sun is shining, though it seems to be a bit dull here. Enjoy it. Bye-bye for now. It's been me, Archie, saying stay blessed.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet. Make you wanna move your dancing feet. To the rescue, here I am. To the rescue, here I
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.